This is the last weekend. So we're fortunate. We got a couple of new friends here and old friends here. So great to see some new faces. Reza, good to see you, brother. Doctor here in the AV has been here from the beginning. Mark Thompson's on his way, so you guys will enjoy that. Lance is here. Okay, Lance Reddick, everybody.
Woo!
Okay, so Lance, I just look. The funny thing about being an actor is that I guess you probably sense it, but we all have more reverence for you, right? Because
well, that's one of those. It depends.
I know, but it's because you're in the shows that I love, right? So I loved Oz and Colonel Daniels on The Wire, which is one of the greatest shows of all time. And I said Colonel, Lieutenant.
It depends on what season.
That's right.
First season, it was Colonel.
Yeah, okay, that's where I remember from. And Lost before the ending. And everybody says John Wick is insane. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to keep it real with you, but everybody says John Wick's the best. So as soon as the campaign's over, I'm going to check that out. Mark's here, everybody. Mark Thompson.
Hey!
Okay.
This is great.
All right. Did your car make it?
Yeah, just made it. Got the electric car. It barely made it. with the wind. It wasn't that. It was I didn't know if I had enough juice to make it to Jenkland. And so I was waiting online, but you have to wait. Now everybody's got an electric car, so you got to wait a little longer, and I couldn't wait anymore because I had to get here. So
There's a charger outside the Element Hotel.
Oh, really? For real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. I like that Palmdale's now been renamed Jenkland.
In my house, it's Jenkland.
Okay. We might be jumping the gun a little bit here. Okay. But I don't know if you guys know the song Palmdale by Afro Man.
Yes.
But as soon as I started running, because if you Google Palmdale, that song comes up, right? Afro Man's the guy who got famous off of Because I Got High. So he was going to come here, but he couldn't because he got high. That's totally a lie. He wasn't going to come here. But he's got another song, Palmdale, and now it's stuck in my head, right? Palmdale,
Come back to me.
If we win, he's going to sing it. I promise. I'm going to find him. I don't know if he's still in Palmdale. He's going to sing it. All right, I'm just going to give you one fun story for now, okay? And then Mark and Lance, if they want to say a couple of words, that'd be amazing because they're wonderful progressives, and it's great to have them here. And then we'll do the training, and then we'll go knock on doors. Nick's here. Nick's from Australia, so it's not a big deal. Okay. We told this story yesterday for the folks on Facebook. Check it out. It's lower. It's one of the videos below. He's like, I'm hanging out in Australia, but I think Bernie and Cenk need the help, so why not just hop on a plane and come and help? So wonderful to have you here, brother. June did the same from Seattle, so it's great to have him here. Look, I tell you guys, canvassing is actually super fun. It's actually one of the best parts of my experience in running for office because you get to meet real people. And when I first did it, I was scared and intimidated because I'm going to go knock on somebody's door. And and I remember when we first started doing it, it was the sun would set early, and so we're coming up there. And Catherine told me, she's my campaign manager, and she's a master organizer. You got to knock loudly, okay? Because they might be in the back of the house, they might be upstairs. So we're coming up to people's house like the popo, like boom, 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 on the floor, right? And I'm like, I don't know if this is a good idea. Catherine's like, do it. Okay? You don't not listen to Catherine. Okay? But then after I did it a couple times, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. This is good. You meet real folks. They tell you their concerns and etc. And then you share stories, and it's actually quite wonderful. And then sometimes you go on these magical runs. My family does it with me on the weekends a lot of times. So my son Pro and I did a run in Simi Valley. Simi Valley has a reputation of being Republican, and on the polling, it does show they're actually still a little bit more Republican than the Democrat. But it doesn't matter because we only give you the Democratic and independent houses. So that's the whole point of like the app, right? So you don't go to a Republican house. Sometimes people will flip to a Republican, but that's very rare, right? And so Simi Valley, is it going to be okay? Man, we had a magical run. Me and every house we ran into, they're like, oh, I'm so glad you came by. I didn't know. Oh, I love your agenda. I'm definitely going to vote for you, and I'll tell a friend. Okay? It was one after another. It was like everybody was home, etc. In fact, whenever I do Castaic in Santa Clarita, the thing I tell everybody is, everybody's home in Castaic. I don't know why, but maybe they got nice houses. Maybe that's why everybody's home in Castaic, right?
Could I borrow Pro for my canvassing? No offense, but I think Pro might have had something to do with the reaction you got.
Oh, it's not like I don't know that. And I take out Joy too. Oh, and they see the oh, come on. Like Republican women are like, forget it, I'm voting for you because of Joy. Anyway, today though, I keep it real, right? Today we had a terrible run, and that happens from time to time. So, but I say it happens very rarely, okay? But today we went to Quartz Hill in Lancaster / Palmdale. It's a little confusing, but anyway, and no one's home in Quartz Hill. Okay, that happens sometimes. Door to door, nobody's home. And then we realized some folks are home and they're not answering the door. Again, very rare, but it does happen, and it happened today. And then I was telling Annalise, who's recording this, I'm like, because we did it together, I'm like, were they traumatized by some stranger here? Right? Because it felt
Jimmy Dore with you, right?
Yeah, I did have Jimmy Dore, but in the beginning. No, Jimmy didn't scare him away. Okay. So it was like a cowboy movie. It's like, there's a stranger, and everybody runs into their houses and won't come out. And then I often at times tell stories about how I flip Republicans. It happens all the time. And so the way I do that is very simple. I'm against corruption. I want to get all the money out. I don't take lobbyist money. I don't take donor money, right? So that works with independents 100% of the time. We had a lady today, totally independent, used to be a Democrat, now has issues with Democratic leadership, is independent, heard I want to get the money out. She's like, boom, sign me up. Now, she doesn't agree with our whole agenda. She doesn't want Medicare for all. That's a whole nother long story. She's like, I'm like, but my rate went up 18%, right? Did it? And she's like, oh yeah, it's going up so much, I won't be able to afford it anymore, and I'm going to need the government soon. I was like, yeah, why don't we do it now? Why don't we do it but anyway. But she's still going to vote for me because she hates the corruption. And so that works with Republicans. The other thing that works with Republicans is Nancy Pelosi doesn't like me. Right? And they're like, whoa, okay, now we're having a conversation. She's spending $2 million against me. Okay, where do I sign? Okay. Anyway, but today we ran into a Republican in the driveway. We don't have you guys talk to folks in the driveway because we don't know if they're Democrats, independents, or not. I do it anyway, just in case. And again, I have good success with Republicans, and I'm the actual candidate, and they respect that, etc. Right? But we ran into a hardcore Republican today. Mark was not movable.
No, he wasn't.
Mark's like, look, I don't want the communist like Bernie Sanders, okay? And Annalise's family is originally from Cuba. I'm like, don't tell him. We got Fidel hiding in the bushes, okay? And he's like, look, the reason I'm a Republican is I'm for freedom. I'm like, oh man, thank God you told me, because I'm totally against freedom. Who's against freedom? Anyway, except, wait till Fidel pops out, right? Yeah, as soon as Bernie wins, boom! We've acquired the target, we've got Mark.
Yeah.
And then he had this theory that we were going to replace his Bible with another Bible?
Yeah. Oh.
And I wanted to ask him, which Bible? like, why are we switching Bibles? I don't know. Why would we switch it to
LeBron James version.
King LeBron James version. That's good. That's good. By the way, if you tell him that, he'll believe it. Okay. Mark, don't worry. We're not taking away we're not switching Bibles on you. Fidel's not in the bushes, okay? So
He was really alive this whole time.
So I'll end on this because Calvin's like, let's go, knock on doors. Right? Okay. Anyway, no, somebody asked me, if you win, though, are you going to also serve Republican voters? Which I find to be a hilarious question. Of course! It's not like you win. You're like, oh, now we'll get you Republican voters. No. And so we're not actually going to take Mark's freedom away. I don't know what I would do with it if I took it away. I actually want to give them more freedom, not less freedom. And so the woman who was against Medicare for All, when her rate goes up 18% again next year and she can't afford it, we're actually going to give her health care. The universal health care, the key word there is universal, right? So it doesn't say universal health care, but not for Republicans. So whether you like it or not, we're actually going to give you health care where you can go to any doctor, you can go to any hospital, and but you're going to pay less. Okay. So I hope you're okay with that. We're going to get you higher wages no matter what. So that's why I really, really want to thank you guys for coming out here, because we're on a mission to get people change. Me and my wife were watching this Asian comedian last night on Netflix. I think it's Richard Cheng. Anyway, what's that?
Ronnie.
Oh, Ronnie, that's it. Thank you, Ronnie Cheng. Yeah, and so it's my wife's Chinese. He's right. Does this hilarious bit about how in Chinese culture everything's about money. Okay, and the phrase for Happy New Year is, "I hope you get rich." He's like, you folks here, say, oh, black people want money, white people want money. No, we want money. Okay. He's like, bless you. No, I hope you get rich. So, but what we're doing here is we're going knocking on doors and telling people, I hope we get change. Okay? And that's what we're going to try to do. And guys, there's like 3 days left. And Bernie has a huge lead in California. Huge. I checked this morning.
Woo!
He had a big lead, and I was worried, like South Carolina, it was going to dip back down, and it was going to be close. I mean, knock on clipboards and wood. No, it's gotten bigger. It's gotten bigger. And Texas, he caught Biden, but you never know. Could, go back down. Wrong. It's gotten bigger in Texas. It's now a 7 to 9 point lead in Texas.
Woo!
So we're 3 days away. And this race, look, keep it real. It's anybody's guess. They don't know. We don't know. But we know historically in this district, it's super close. Almost every election in the last dozen years is about 1,000 to 2,000 votes to see who gets into the primary. I personally talked to our best guess is 300, maybe 400 voters myself, right?
You talked to more than that.
Oh, I've talked to more than that?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, I can't keep track anymore.
She's sitting at the clicker.
80?
Yeah, I think it's over 80, because I think you told me 82 last time. So, and I go to talk to people in malls, I go to their houses. I'm coming to your house. So, look, even if it was 300 and we think we need 30,000 votes, we're not positive, etc. But that's 1%, and these elections are often decided by 1%. You guys could make that difference today, okay? I mean, if you've ever seen June crowd canvass, he will put people in headlocks and he will get them to vote for you. Okay.
Master the walk and talk.
Yeah, that's right. Walk and talker. Okay. All right. So I've talked too long. Speaking of which, Mark, you want to say a couple of words?
Well, I would say it's a pleasure and an interesting new world for me to be here and be part of. And I'm sorry, I would say they're prescriptions, so I'm not just playing super cool to have a side. But I wouldn't come up here for any candidate, just any old candidate, and I know you probably wouldn't either. I mean, I think we all share sort of a faith in Cenk as a remarkably honest, sincere person. I would, at this point in politics, if it just stopped there and we got an honest, sincere person in places of influence and legislative influence, that would be enough, because I just feel the system's so corrupt, almost by definition, at its core, at its essence. It's drenched in money, and Cenk talks about that all the time. So, but that doesn't just stop there. Cenk's got a real vision. Cenk has a plan. Cenk has a strategy. Cenk has honesty when discussing these things. I think Cenk brings such a great breadth of skills to the legislative process that he'll really be an asset for this community. And if truth be told, he'd probably be an asset for any community. But this is a community in which he could really make a difference. So I come here today enthusiastically. Sure, Cenk reached out to me because we know each other through TYT, but I wouldn't. I mean, I got a million excuses I could have served up to avoid being here, and I wouldn't. And I mean, you know how that is. I mean, and let's face it, life intervenes, and there's a lot of stuff competing for your time. So it speaks really well that all of you guys are here too. Anyway, I guess what I'm saying is I'm like you. I put all that other life aside to be here today because I really believe in Cenk. I believe in his purity of message. I believe in his purity of thought and strategy and his follow through. When he says he's going to do something, he does it. He's an extremely impressive guy, and I'm so proud to be here for him today. So there you go.
You know what? Let's do one random one. It's not about me, but what motivated you to want to volunteer and come out here and spend a lovely Saturday afternoon in Palmdale? Okay, you want to go?
Yeah, it is about you. I'm sorry, I got to say it. I love watching TYT. I've watched it for years. I've watched you, and I've watched your politics evolve. And what Mark just said about the idea that you're incorruptible. He didn't say it that way. I say it that way because you're able to raise your money in small amounts. You're not tied like most of the people there to the corruption, to the fact they have to have the money from big donors, from corporations. I have no doubt that you'll do what you think is right. The vast majority of the people there won't do what they think is right. They will do what they do, and I'm not saying they're all bad people. They'll do what they do to get paid because they want to stay there. I don't believe that's ever going to be a problem for you because you have the name recognition and you have the right ideas in the beginning, but also because you're not going to be corrupted by the money, you're going to force the system to change. And every one of you is another weight on everyone else there that forces them to be straight. Just like Ocasio-Cortez has been just one voice. She has influenced so many people around her, and they hate it because they're used to doing things in the dark of night. The Democrats suddenly join hands and in a bipartisan manner screw us over because they got to get paid. She basically calls them out on that. You'll do that too, and you've said how you'll do that. Just doing that is, I think, enough to help change the system because every one of our Ocasio-Cortezes, every one of you begets another 2, another 3, another 5, and at some point we're getting somewhere close to what things were like, as I've been told, back when FDR was president. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so
Jake, I do want to say
oh, okay, Lance.
one
Yes.
little thing.
Yeah.
It's funny because after I can't remember your name.
I'm Dennis Wilkins.
Dennis. After hearing Dennis and after hearing Mark, I feel like there's not a lot I have to add. I just felt like it was important to speak. It was interesting. On the way over here, we were listening to a podcast, and Helen, I can't remember her last name, but Melvin Douglas's wife, was one of the first prominent female politicians in the country and in this end. And I remember her talking about how when she first got into politics with the Democratic Party, how shocked she was at how much their decisions were not based. I mean, this is the 30s, so this is 80 years ago. How shocked she was to find out that politicians voted and behaved according to special interest donors as opposed to. So this is not a new problem. It's not a. I mean, this is it's baked into the system. And I mean, Jake, you and I don't know each other very well, but I've been a fan for quite a long time. And not in that watch you on TV fan, but fan of your integrity, fan of what you believe in, and I think it's and getting money out of politics is just so important. I mean, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, the Green New Deal and the importance of climate change and everything that you stand for. So that's why I'm here. And also because.
I've listened to you since you're on radio, and I called you for every TV appearance, so I have MS. And it was hard for me to come here today, to go through every appearance. But did you know what they're doing to California driver's registrations? You have to say who you're, what party you're in. Now, I'm 64 years old, and I've never had that in the 50 years I've driven, or 40, you know what I'm saying? And a whole bunch of questions that are related to like blocking people from voting. And let's say you could have lived here all your life and you have your driver's license. If you don't get a new one that says you're a citizen that you have to pay to have a point, unless you have a military ID, then you can't get a passport and you can't do a lot of things. They won't accept your ID.
Yeah. Okay, so let me look into that more. And I know we got a lot of issues with voting here too. Guys, if you're at home and if you're in this district, or actually if you're anywhere in California, there's new digital ballots. You have to scroll down. It's not just my race, it's a presidential race. There's a lot of people in the race. Bernie is not on the first page in most of the ballots, okay? And in my race, we're on the ballot twice. So that's really important because it's to fill the empty seat. That's a special election and the November election primary. So I don't want it to dissuade you. It's still easy. You just have to know those two things. Scroll down on the digital ballot. Make sure that you see everyone. Last one, Cynthia.
Yeah, really quick. So I've been canvassing all day, every day for a while now. And I had the easiest close ever today. Knock on the door. Hi, I'm Cynthia. Are you Maria? Yes. And I gave the 3 sentences, just the very beginning. And she starts laughing. I was like, great, so do you already know Cenk? She said, no, but my 17-year-old son has been on me to vote for him, so now that you're here and you're telling me this, I'll absolutely do it.
Awesome. I love it. All right, that's awesome. And by the way, Cynthia's been here for a long time. She was here a month before she told me, hey, I came in from Tahoe. I'm like, what? Why don't you tell me that? That's amazing, okay? And so the rest of this weekend, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Porter Ranch, Anna Kasparian, Ben Mankiewicz, J.R. Jackson, so don't miss that. And then the last one for the weekend at 3 o'clock is Santa Clarita, Dave Kohler, Steve O. This morning we had Jimmy Dore. Last weekend we had Dolores Huerta and John Stanley here. So we got a whole mix, and we got Cynthia from Tahoe, and we got Nick from Australia. And then the last one I'll leave you on. Dustin, this morning, I said, where are you from, brother? And he said, I'm from Iowa, and I was on vacation. I decided, I'm just going to come up here and canvass for you instead. Wow. Okay. And so the reason I tell you that is you guys have said wonderful things about me, and I really, really appreciate it. But it really, really isn't about me. I'm absolutely nobody without you guys. If you weren't here, we'd have no prayer at all. And the folks like Dustin and everybody else is coming out because we need change. We need change. We need to get money out of politics. We need universal health care, climate change, all of these things. We've got to work on that. And I love your passion and your strength and your dedication to those causes that makes you come here from all over. And if you're in the district, and not plenty of you are in the district, to fight for all of us here. So thank you guys. And if you want to join us tomorrow at any of those events, or we still could use money to get our message out through ads, etc. Cenk2020.com/go for the money, Cenk2020.com/team to join us out here. But go to the website overall and you'll see those events. Thank you, and thank you all for coming. Woo!